showed their devotion to God. They believed in God, even when probably as human beings, what God was asking of them did not make full sense. But they would be generous to God till the end, and that became their blessing. Abraham was blessed with many descendants in faith. St. Paul seems to continue our query. St. Paul addresses Christians who very often were subjected to persecution, to judgment. What will you do? Will you preserve your life? That's how generous God is. His most precious Son was not protected. God generously offered him for our salvation. If we connect this with the first reading, we could even say Isaac was luckier. The angel of God prevented the hand of Abraham from killing Isaac. But God did not spare his only son. Now, St. Paul reminds the Romans of this truth. Look at how generous God has been to us. And giving his life for us, we have been made holy. We have been saved. That's why the generosity of God in Jesus' generous offering of life is called a sacrifice. It is an act of oblation to the Father in obedience to the Father. It is an act of holiness on the part of Jesus. But it is also a sacrifice because it makes us holy. If God is for us, who can be against us?
Men's souls, obedience to God's word is what we need.
A Seed from the Sower has originated from the studios of the Guido Evangelistic Association, Meta, Georgia.
We're here before dawn. We're here at midnight. We're here when life begins, and here when it ends. We spend hours training, bonding, and earning their trust. We are their voices, their allies, and their advocates, now and in the future. This is not just our job, it's our passion. We are Fresno Chaffee Zoo.
On earth could bleach them. Then Elijah appeared to them along with Moses, and they were conversing with Jesus. Then Peter said to Jesus in reply, "Rabbi, it is good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." He hardly knew what to say. They were so terrified. Then a cloud came, casting a shadow over them. From the cloud came a voice, "This is my beloved Son. Listen to him." Suddenly, looking around, they no longer saw anyone but Jesus alone with them. As they were coming down from the mountain, he charged them not to relate what they had seen to anyone, except when the Son of Man had risen from the dead. So they kept the matter to themselves, questioning what rising from the dead meant. The Gospel of the Lord.
Our Gospel for this Sunday is taken from St. Mark, the account of the Transfiguration of Jesus. We have been reflecting on generosity, the generosity of God that saves us, that makes us holy, a generosity which is sacrifice, a making holy. In the first reading, the height, the body that will receive a lot of suffering and pain, now before Peter, James, and John, is luminous, has been transfigured into a body of light. How could light come from persecution, arrest, and even slaughter? What is the secret of this light? This light is the light of other-centered love. When we are self-centered, we don't possess light. We just bring darkness, or we fabricate light.